thick in the midst of earnings season. It's all about technology. HCL Technologies is the best performing stock on the Nifty today, up by over 7%. Polaris too came up with its numbers. The market received them well. Stock holding up over 2%. We're joined by the management.
The stock up about 8%. Varun Goel, Assistant Vice President Fund Management at KC Securities, now joins in on the show. Afternoon, Varun. So Infosys, TCS, then now you've got something like an HCL Technologies. Very interesting reaction to all the numbers. Infosys, the market took its own time to understand what was going on. TCS got sold into, and now you've got an HCL Technologies. What's the call on the sector as a whole?
Well, good afternoon, Subi. I think we are fairly positive on Tier 1 IT companies. I think what the commentary has been, it is very clear that all the big three companies are going to have a very strong volume growth. It could be of the order of between 15 and 25%. I think as far as the guidance part is concerned, Infosys guidance clearly has been assumed to be very conservative by the market. And I think there are all reasons to believe that the company should be able to do better than that. I think as far as the pricing is concerned, one would expect a stable pricing with slight increase maybe coming in the second half of the year. I think the good thing is that it's not just the banking and financial companies which constitute more than 40 to 45% of the revenues of these companies. I think now the manufacturing sector as well as the telecom sector seems to be catching up. So I think the growth is going to come in across.
Varun, just hold that thought. We'll come back to you in a second. The TVS Motors press conference has started on their numbers. Let's cut across. The hurt is what they're saying. One new launch on the motorbike in the next 3 to 4 months. They're expecting domestic sales this quarter to perhaps exceed about 2.6 million units, and they've clocked in margins of about 2.8% for the financial year concluded. That's TVS Motors. Stocks up by nearly about 2%. Varun Goel still with us, even as a block deal of JSW Energy is underway. 121 rupees per share at 18 lakh shares traded on JSW Energy. So news sporting and thick and fast. Varun, if you wanted to complete your answer on IT and perhaps your thoughts on auto as well, since we've just heard from Hero Honda and TVS Motors.
I think, as I was saying, IT, we continue to be quite positive on the IT space with the expectation of about 20% revenue growth. And I think with a slight dip in margins, maybe because of wage hikes and maybe rupee appreciation. So I think as long as rupee stays around these levels, we would continue to be positive on this space. As far as the automobile space is concerned, I think the pressures on the raw material side and the interest rate side continue to build up. I think going forward, especially the four-wheelers and the commercial vehicle companies will start getting impacted because of the increase in interest rates. But I think one positive factor there that the demand continues to hold up very well, and I think this strong demand that seems to be coming in will mitigate the negative impact due to commodity prices and interest rates to a large extent. And we like two-wheeler space the most in the whole sector.
All right, let's get in one more voice as far as the auto space is concerned. Abdul Majid. Okay, I think that line's not gone through properly. We'll try and reconnect with him. But since we were talking about these companies, Varun, what's your best auto pick right now, and what is the one stock that you'll probably just completely avoid because of these margin pressures that we're speaking of?
I think, as I said, we continue to be quite positive on two-wheeler space. I think that sector is going to see at least 25% kind of volume growth. I think the trend of last 3-4 months should sustain going forward. And from whatever interactions that we had with the dealers and people on the ground, the increase in excise duty doesn't seem to have a very significant impact on the numbers. So I think, without taking any names, I would just like to say that the two-wheeler sales continues to remain very attractive, and we would tend to avoid the CV space because more than 60% of the vehicles there are financed in some form or the other, and then the interest rate hikes could actually curb demand in that side.
Okay, let's take a break. Our final one on the show before we close out for the markets this Wednesday afternoon. Varun stays on. We'll continue our chat with him on the other side. Leave details, Dhaval. That's Z Entertainment and Z News in focus. We'll play out for you what the management had to tell us a little later on the show. For the moment, Varun Goel is still with us. We're analyzing various pockets of the market with him. Varun, the next perhaps big queue will be banks, State Bank of India, Reliance Industries. They all come out on Friday and Saturday. What is the expectation broadly from these three? Because I guess beyond this, there's really nothing material that could move the Nifty from earnings.
I think, Rahul, as far as the banking space is concerned, we saw a very good set of numbers from Axis Bank yesterday. I think it does look like that the credit growth has really picked on in the second half of the year. And I think going forward also, one would expect at least a 20 to 25% kind of credit growth. So I think from a results point of view, I think we should be able to see at least 20-25% kind of growth as far as SBI numbers are concerned. ICICI again is in a consolidation kind of a phase, so the growth there might be muted. But I think from a 1 year forward kind of a perspective, the Tier 1 banking space continue to look very good. I think we're going to see a much better and much higher than expected increase in net interest income that would be supported by a huge increase in fee income. So we continue to be positive on private sector banking plays. As far as Reliance is concerned, I think the refining margins did go up for a small part of this quarter, so which might reflect in the results. But I think refining margins more or less have tended to come down to the levels that they were in second half of last year. So I do not expect a very significant increase in earnings of the company in this quarter. And I think as far as the stock is concerned, to me the stock appears to be fairly valued at this point of time.
Good speaking with you, Varun. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining in. Varun Goel there with his thoughts on the markets. Hindustan Zinc's numbers flashing on your screen. Sales coming in at nearly 2,500 crores.